All right, what's up, everybody? Good evening.
Fuck!
All right, LSU loses in overtime, 16-13.
You're going to start this show right after I have to watch fucking college football's best trophy get carried off by the fucking Hogs, dude. Thank you so much, Laurel. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. That was fucking brutal. A great defensive effort wasted. The offensive regression continues.
I'm so glad that Garrett Nussmeier's dad told Ed Ogeron he could play this week. So glad they sorted that out. Jesus.
What did you say about Nuss for the game, though? Did you think he should play?
I think that should be a coach's decision. I'm not putting this loss on Nussmeier, but what do we say about Nussmeier? Got a little bit of Gunslinger too. He fucking threw.
You saw it all tonight. You saw the exact Garrett Nussmeier read. That's why they chose Mac Johnson over him, because he's more conservative and doesn't make as many mistakes.
And he throws 2 picks tonight, and you lose a close game. And despite the quarterback change, you put up 13 friggin' points.
13 points. 13 points. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So if you're watching right now, we have the Relaxation Company out here tonight. Right. Shout out to the Relaxation Company. The best massage joint in town. They're out the Pelican Point in Gonzales. Oh, my God. Jennifer Delotte, who's working with me right now, she's been in a massage game for 2 decades, y'all. Now, Relaxation Company, it is hers. It is a place of her own. So she's taking all that experience. She's put it into practice. Whew, it feels incredible, dude. That's all I can really say. TRC Massage on Instagram. You want to go there, treat yourself, support local family-owned business. We got the entire DeLotte family out here with us tonight. Shout out Relaxation Company. I'm going to need this shit because that sucked. That was brutal. Matt, should we start the show how we start everyone, though?
Yeah, let's do our toast.
Oh, man.
All right. Win or lose, we always toast. Win or lose, we always booze. Ooh, that's so good.
Oh, that's actually okay.
This was the best idea ever, by the way.
Every now, I know, I told you, dude. Shout out the Relaxation Company. This is fucking awesome.
So if you, whatever you have, raise your glass, toast with us.
Cheers, boys.
Take a picture of it. Tweet at us. We appreciate it. Jake, turn me up a little bit if you would, please. Cheers. Go Tigers.
Okay, go ahead and light your cigar, and I'll kind of start here.
No, you go start. I'm just going to sit here and get a massage. I'm going to share out all these posts.
Yeah, well, okay, well, give me a matching. So I'm going to need to get this thing lit, or I'll wait. What a brutally disappointing game, and it's doubly bad because of everything that we talked about coming into this game, everything that was on the line. This was your golden opportunity to get to bowl eligibility. This was the battle, as sad as this is, Matt, this was the battle to avoid last place in the West. So now you essentially have last place in the West locked up. You may mathematically have it locked up. I'm not actually sure on that. I'll have to double check. Because you would have won a tiebreak over Arkansas to not be last. Now there are 4 wins. So, yeah, you're last.
Yeah.
Which is why we're here where we are, right?
Correct.
Because you're last place in the West, 2 years removed from a national championship. And oh, my God. Although the West is really good, that's just inexcusable. It's just inexcusable. And really what you saw tonight, it was interesting to me because a lot of the reasons why you lost are the same sins that caused the regime change to happen, the firings to happen. And that is the coordinator hires, and mainly on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Durante Jones, I feel like you've really seen a gap start to develop on the offensive and defensive side of the ball where you had 2 very green coordinators come in, has grown leaps and bounds. And I feel like the LSU defense, maybe with a couple missteps here and there, I do feel it's fair to say that defense has gotten better and better all season long. The offense has done the opposite. They've had a regression. You say, oh, what about Kayshon Boutte? I get it, but both sides have dealt with injuries. Defense dealt with more injuries, I would say. And actually, look, credit to the O-line. They did all right, but it just the offense just has gotten less and less threatening. The play calling feels less and less sure of itself. Again, are you kidding me? Fucking last drive of the game on the line, 4th and 1. You get a false start penalty because you're over fucking complicated mechanics. Line up and fucking run the ball. They're trying to draw them off sides, and they're trying to call a play in with under 10 seconds left. And, of course, the operation's fucked up. You got a freshman fucking quarterback in there. Call a play and run it. So, again, that reared its ugly head. And at the end, look, those hires are what ended up costing, among with other things, right? But kind of puts you across the finish line in terms of costing his job. And unfortunately, it feels like for another time this year, offensively at least, that hire has cost you another game. I mean, I cannot really wrap my head around 4th and short and getting a penalty again, dude. I mean, not a timeout this time, but a penalty that, in my opinion, is a result of the overcomplicated, heavy, burdensome mechanics of how this LSU offense operates. Do we have matches?
Yeah.
Matches? Jakey?
Yes.
Jakey, baby?
So, you know what, man? I'm in this strange spot right now where I am conflicted about hey, so people saying video's choppy. Is the audio okay? Jake, is the audio okay? Do a test on the phone or something like that. Just check, see if audio's okay, and let me know. All right, we are here at Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We're dealing with a little bit of a technical snafu, and so
We're
if it's a little choppy this week, we'll get it worked out. But it's just an Ethernet thing. It's not a big deal.
We're here at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Thanks so much to Don Juan, as always, for hosting us. Shout out also to, of course, the Relaxation Company, who are the reason that we're very – yeah, okay, our audio is good. All right, audio is good, so a little choppy on the video. Apologize for that, but the audio is good, so that's fine. Which means the podcast version this week will do really well.
Yep.
And also the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. It's honestly, man, we're going to go through this game. It is really – my level of give a damn right now is so low. I mean, you come into this game 4-5, you lose, you're at 4-6. You got to beat ULM and A&M now to get to a bowl game. A&M lost tonight. The biggest story, though, is you came into this ball game tonight committed to playing Garrett Nussmeier because we thought Max hadn't been great. And in fairness, he hadn't. But what he had done is he managed the game and he protected the football. And Nussmeier did a whole lot of none of that tonight. So what you were hoping to get from Nussmeier was a spark and maybe some big plays, and you didn't. He got one. He tried to force 2 balls. He made bad decisions. The taking the sack in overtime is a terrible decision. It's a terrible mistake in that situation. But then in kind of the gunslinger fashion, right? He gets a 3rd and 20, and he converted. He did, but man, there's just no denying. And at this point, to be up in arms and pissed is also to continue to beat the dead horse of Ed Ogeron, which is he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Well, again, I mean,
why in the hell would you go into this ball game tonight, play Max Johnson the first 2 series, and then just be committed to Nuss the rest of the way? Why not just start Garrett Nussmeier and say Garrett's going to play, unless if he's terrible, we'll go to Max?
I am surprised.
There was no rhyme or reason to anything they did.
So I'm surprised at the last part of the equation, right? I'm with you. Honestly, this week I was like, well, why are you starting Max at all if you're just going to put Nuss in? But then, the whole deal was we'll be like, okay, we're going to kind of stick with the hot hand, right? And admittedly, Max's hand was not hot, but neither was Nuss's. I mean, there was no consistency there. In fact, one of the turning points of the game, maybe it looked like you were building a little consistency, and that was when you had the back-to-back completions to Jack Besh and Mashburn, and then you had the Wildcat fumble, right? And so, I mean, I guess, okay, so to go back to my original point, though, what you were saying, Matt, I agree with you, with how you started to manage the quarterbacks, why did you remain committed to the end? Because the whole idea was we're going to stick with who's ever playing better, and Nuss didn't really play better than Max.
Right.
He got more opportunity and made one big play. But again, but my anger, dude, see, that's the thing, though. My anger is real, but it doesn't come from, oh, fuck these coaches, I'll never forget, because whatever, change is coming. That is what it is. My anger is that we lost to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate Arkansas.
I agree.
And I love the Golden Boot.
I don't care.
And I don't know if it's just me, but, I grew up, I think personally, I do have something with Arkansas because I grew up in Atlanta, and some of the best memories of my life are coming back. We come back to cut off for Thanksgiving every year. Yeah. And so if LSU had a home game, me and my grandpa would pack up. We'd go watch LSU-Arkansas. I fucking loved those games. I'll never forget crying and yelling at my dad After Gay gave up that touchdown to Arkansas, it was like 0-2, 0-3 or something.
That was 2002. That was DeCorey Birmingham, the miracle on Markham.
Yeah,
I was sitting at the goal line where DeCorey Birmingham scored.
Okay, so like LSU scores, right? Me and my grandpa go fucking crazy. My dad's like, "Oh, not so fast. There's still fucking time left." And I literally cried and ran upstairs like, "I hate you." So I love this series, and I love fucking beating Arkansas, and I love not finishing last, and I love the Golden Boot. And unfortunately, all of that just went out the window on a 16-13 OT loss. Oh man, that massage felt so good.
The big, you found how screwed up my neck is, didn't you?
She found it.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. She's like immediately.
Jennifer knows how to hire him.
Like last week, I slept weird, and I mean she went right. She found it. I mean immediately. You know, like when you sleep weird, sometimes you wake up and you got like that, like a stiff neck where you can't like turn.
If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said no. And unfortunately, now I do know that life, and I guess it's a post-30s thing, and it's fucking depressing. Just one wrong sleep, and you're fucked for a few days. One wrong sleep, and your neck feels like it just lost in Tiger Stadium to Arkansas 16-13 in overtime.
Bro.
Again, okay.
Every time I try to say something, now I know how Hester feels. Y'all can never accuse me of ever. You can never accuse me ever of being the guy that interrupts. Because every time I've started to say something, I don't know if it's your spicy margs or what, but like
they
you
are
keep
spicy.
jumping in.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm all fired up, man.
I know you're fired up.
I got
fine.
a lot
That's
of
what makes this show great.
I'll smoke for a little bit.
But I'll tell
just
you
talk.
this, man.
Get
like my single biggest takeaway, aside from what we just talked about, like I'm talking about the game itself, aside from like the ancillary stuff, like what you should have done with quarterback and all that shit. And we'll get into that with game flow. But you dominated the first half. Your defense, after giving up that field goal on the first possession, forced 4 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Yeah.
Like you had an opportunity to pummel this team and put them away in the first half, and you just couldn't do it. Like you couldn't get out of your own way, man. And it's like that's what we've seen over and over again with this team all year. And it's frustrating as hell because Arkansas ain't no good, by the way. Like, I call them the Arkan frauds and laugh. Bro, that's not a good football team. You saw it on display. They are a one-dimensional football team. They're not talented, and they just they slug their way.
They are well coached.
The problem is, no, they're not. Like LSU,
you don't think they're well coached?
But LSU, they weren't tonight. LSU's not good either. That was a shitty football game to watch. Like, that was brutal. You only watch that game because you loved LSU or Arkansas.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's it. That was a poorly played football game. I mean, you can look at turnovers and penalties. I mean, Arkansas had 9, LSU only 5 penalties tonight. But think about the costly penalty at the end where, dude, you got the ball with a chance to go win the game in regulation. Inside of 60, Cade York should be good. He missed the 55-yarder short, which surprised me. But, dude, you're sitting there in a situation where, God damn, you're at midfield, you got 4th and a yard, and you got, just get a yard, and then you
it's the offensive
all the shifting.
It's the
mechanics.
mechanics.
Line up and give the ball to Ty Davis Price, who was awesome again tonight.
Well, so
Thank
not
you, by
only,
the way.
not just the shifting, bro. Yeah, I don't know. They left. That was so awesome, dude. What happened?
Did they leave?
Yeah,
I think
no. They're over there talking to friends. They're like, all right, peace. Y'all are annoying.
Relaxation Company, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Relaxation Company. Pelican Point,
really cool.
Gonzales. If you haven't been out there, they're awesome.
Matches.
They sponsor OTV. I love them.
Did the matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Super Chat. Jack Zering, again, let myself believe, only get hurt. Say something nice about Jake Peets. I think we've actually had to say something nice.
Jake Peets is a really good husband and father.
BZ says basketball school.
What's going on with this?
The cigar that we're smoking tonight is a Jamie Garcia Reserva. A full-bodied profile of leather, dark cocoa, and black pepper. It resonates like butter over the palate. It resides in a collection of balanced and delicious sizes. Okay. Balanced and delicious sizes. It is a sweet and zesty classic. If you're boss enough, smoke it. Game on. It is a wonderful cigar. Okay, well, how do you feel about this comment from LA Mom 2020? I wouldn't be sad if Durante stayed.
That's stupid. It shows you how much you've lowered your expectation. If what you're impressed by is a guy who, in the 9th playing date, figured out he should bring pressure. Like, this is also the same team that got shit kicked out of them by Kentucky. They got the shit kicked out of them by Ole Miss. That was just hapless against UCLA. No. Every one of these fucks needs to be gone. All of them.
So,
get rid of all of them.
So I agree with you on the staying portion of it because
you're LSU. No, hang on.
Yeah, because
hang
you're
on,
LSU.
Hang on.
Yeah, like
you're
a bit of
fucking,
that.
no, wait. You're fucking LSU because I'm going to say this right now. Who was that?
LA Mom 2020.
All right, LA Mom 2020. I'm going to assume you're a lady because it says LA Mom, and I'm going to try to go a little bit light specifically that. But
that's sexist. That's sexist.
That's the
you got a
bullshit.
motherfucker just as hard as you fuck the boys.
Bullshit mentality that I'm talking about. That is the same bullshit mentality that allowed LSU to hire Ed Ogeron in the first place. A guy that was 3-21 in the SEC. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking.
Again,
that was
dude.
3-21 in the SEC. The point is, this is the point. You are LSU. When you're willing to stroke a $100 million check for a coach right now, when you've won national titles, when you have the resources you don't need to settle. That's my point. When you're Ed Ogeron hiring a staff, you don't need to go hire a fucking defensive coordinator who hadn't been a defensive coordinator since 2009 at the Division II level. What the fuck are you doing? Hire someone that's called defensive plays. This is LSU. This is the SEC. It's a $100 million business. What are you doing? That like sources to eliminate variables. Like, hire someone that's a more of a sure thing, that's a proven commodity because you can do that.
Do you think that there were any limitations put on the hiring process this time around, given
No, there were no limitations.
Given the shaky nature
are there
of where
are there
Ogeron was
coaches
entering
are there
the-
coaches that no doubt didn't want to coach for Ed Ogeron because they thought he was going to get fired? Probably. But fuck, man, he also, if he had a head.
Well, like they couldn't get more than a 2-year contract, right? I think Brad Davis was the only one that they did.
That's every assistant. They're always on 2-year deals. Like, if Ogeron.
Well, I'm talking about if you're trying to go get a big boy, if you're trying to get a big name.
Then fine. If you could do that, then give them a guaranteed deal or a longer deal. But a lot of coaches want to stay ahead of their contract, which I get it. Or you stay ahead of the resume. But like he wanted Ryan Nielsen from the Saints, but he fucked that up because he went and tried to do that deal while they were in the playoffs against the Bears, and then didn't tell Sean Payton that he was talking to his coach. So Sean Payton got pissed and exercised a clause where he couldn't leave. It's like, if you actually had any sense of how to manage that situation, maybe Ryan Nielsen's your defensive coordinator today. I don't know if that makes a lick of difference on this season.
No, I
maybe
feel like
it does.
Ryan Nielsen probably dodged a bullet. But see, that's the thing. Durante Jones, though, while he hasn't been great, obviously, especially here in the latter half, especially the last 2 weeks, he has not been the problem. Like, we're sitting here talking about the defense, but the defense was objectively great last week, and they were objectively great again tonight. In the first half, I want to say Arkansas had like 56 yards on 26 plays. I think they were like 1 of 7 on third down. That number didn't get much better, although KJ Jefferson's. You gave up 16 points. In today's era of college football. In overtime. But in today's era of college football, you should fucking win if you give up 13.
That's also an indictment. That's also an indictment on Arkansas's offense. The Arkan frauds, who are not any good. Traylon Burks is a good player. LSU essentially eliminated him tonight. KJ Jefferson, the counter, and this is what I talked about all week, was – of course, LSU's going to bring pressure. Didn't we talk about this after the Florida game, like where the counter plays worked and then you expected them to build upon it in the Ole Miss game? They did nothing different.
Yeah.
They did nothing different, and Ole Miss had a week to prepare for it. Same thing. What was the counter? What was the answer that Kendall Browse had in the second half? They started running KJ Jefferson.
Bro, I don't know if I'm going to give Arkansas's offense that much fucking credit, dude. Like, they did enough, but that's just football nowadays. Like, you trip and fall into double-digit points. Like, you would have to be a
I'm not saying they were awesome.
Shitty offense.
What was the difference in the second half of the ballgame from the first?
It was KJ making plays with his legs.
Jefferson.
But that wasn't on Durante Jones. Durante Jones teamed up multiple should have been sacks that people didn't. I don't know if it's more of a credit to KJ Jefferson, but and I think I'm just being LSU biased here, but fuck me, dude. Between this and the Auburn game, the amount of times where you had a quarterback dead to rights in the backfield and he ended up turning into a positive play is fucking heartbreaking. It's actually kind of surprising it didn't get worse considering how many times KJ was able to make that sort of play. Because that's like one of those like morale plays that really can snowball on you a bit. So, fuck Arkansas, dude. I hate him. Again, I wanted the Golden Boot, and here we sit. And Bob Champagne, Super Chat. At this point, I'll take whoever cleans house fastest, even Matt's mystery candidate. Who's the mystery candidate?
I haven't said the name because I know how people react when you throw out a name. Fans just automatically jump to this conclusion that the coach is going to be hired. Like, here's what I'll tell you. This is what I, with everything that I've gathered up to this point, that I believe to be true. I believe you have strong factions within LSU's decision-making process that are adamantly opposed to Jimbo Fisher, mainly boosters. Boosters who went down this road with Jimbo before, they don't want to do it again.
Yeah,
adamantly
Spurs
opposed.
lover.
So,
hell hath no fury like a booster scorned. It's an old college football
but
saying.
Scott Woodward wants to pursue Jimbo. I think he will all the way up until the end, which is now more likely because you know definitively A&M is not going to the SEC championship game. So that becomes more of a possibility. I also don't think that they get a deal with Jimbo done. I think Jimbo is entrenched at A&M. I don't think he's leaving, but I think Scott Woodward's going to keep calling. I do think they will make an offer to Lincoln Riley, which would be that 8-year, $100 million offer that I talked about, and they'll make him say no. Like, that's going to be the moonshot upper deck. We'll see if they connect. I believe there's another current Power 5 head coach that is someone that they'll make a run at if they need to. I'll be very interested to see what happens with Mel Tucker because I hear conflicting things. Some people who insist that he's still
wait. Even after the extension,
he hasn't agreed to an extension. That's the thing. That's the thing. Everybody reads a fucking headline. Nobody actually reads a fucking story. The whole report was that Mel Tucker has an offer in hand to stay at Michigan State on a new deal. He didn't agree to a fucking new contract. They made him an offer, but of course they're going to fucking make him a new offer. That's not news, but that's just what the fucking news cycle becomes, and people only fucking read headlines. It annoys the piss out of me. That's the problem with this. People take little morsels and just draw conclusions from morsels. So
I do agree with that. Like we talked about, everything is built on kernels of truth and then become lies because of how spun out of control they get. So we agree there.
If you're going through a coaching search, you have to vet many candidates.
Yeah.
And just because I keep using this dating analogy, like just because you have coffee, you have the first date, doesn't mean you're marrying that person, but you have to have the first date if you're ever going to get to that. So you have that with a lot of people.
Explain it like the kids would get it. Just because you swipe right on somebody doesn't mean you're going to end up married. It's like I've seen your Grindr profile, and you're not married to all those guys, but you do a lot of swiping. Spurgeon says, "Why aren't we talking fucking turnovers?"
All right, Spurge, let's talk, bro.
They did rear their ugly head. This was, again, like.
It's the easiest thing in the world to predict with this team. Protect the football. You're not good enough to give away possessions. LSU gave away 3 possessions tonight. You fucking lost the game because you turned the ball over.
But that's
same thing last week.
No, but that's exactly why Max Johnson was playing, though, right? Like over Garrett Nussmeier. It's because the coaches were afraid of the turnovers.
And to beat a good team, you needed last week. You needed your quarterback to make plays. And he didn't.
That's true.
Tonight you didn't need your quarterback to make plays. You were playing a shitty fucking team that only scored 13 points in regulation. You just needed to not turn the ball over. You needed to not run a motherfucking goddamn wildcat play with Ty Davis Price from the 18-yard line, and he can't handle a moderately wide snap. I'm not trying to crush Ty Davis Price. He had a great game tonight. But you put him in that situation, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're turning the ball right downfield. There's a chance to go up 2 scores before half, and you fuck it up.
And it's like you're just giving us 2 easy throws in a row into Besh and Mashburn, and you tried to get cute, and you end up
when Nussmeier came into the game, he missed like his first 3 throws because he kept just throwing deep shots. It's like, can you get him into a flow? Like, settle him into the ball game a little bit. Get him some success.
A little bit of
the ball.
A little bit of that, though, is Nuss's decision-making, which I don't hate. Like, when he was blitzed, you saw how quickly he got rid of the ball. The problem is, it's maybe, honestly, it might be, he's getting rid of it quick, but he's kind of like, fuck it, boom. And like sometimes the receivers didn't seem like they were on the same page, probably because they're used to playing with Max, and it's been a little bit slower in how it developed. And then other times he just threw it into really dangerous situations that he shouldn't have. The 3rd and 20 into then, you get the 3rd and 20, you're like, oh my God, wow, he did it. Look at that fucking throw he snuck in there. And then he went for the kill shot. Because Nuss is a fucking gunslinger. That's what he is at this point. It's like I've said every time we've talked about it, he is a chaotic ball of energy. And I mean chaotic in that there is a huge unpredictability factor there about what you're going to get out of him. And you saw the Nussmeier experience tonight.
Ridge James, Vance McBroom, what's up, y'all? Darren Jackson, Wade Newell, Caleb Bernard, Brad Vignair. Shout out to everybody watching. Bradley Abedy, Doug Thomas. We appreciate y'all for the comments. Hey, we know that The video's a little choppy. We apologize for that, but we understand the audio's good. So
yeah, we can't fix the video tonight. We're on Wi-Fi. The Ethernet cable broke. Like, it's that simple. I don't know. It sucks.
Apologies. It does suck. So we're on our backup plan. At least we got good audio, so we're glad for that.
Shout out Jake getting it up, though. Shout out Jake for getting the stream up. Good job.
He does a good job at getting it up, right? You know that?
Samuel Ayers, is that for the grinder? Samuel Ayers says, how do you feel after the pizza, T-Bob? I feel horrible. That was the biggest piece of pizza I've ever tried to eat in my life. Competitive eating is decidedly not for me. That is a brutal fucking sport. Watching Joey Chestnut ball that 2 feet pizza into some like crazy just ball of madness and munch away at it was wild. But it was a lot of fun getting to be on the stage with Chestnut. But I didn't even finish one piece, man. Bad day for your boy. I had an LSU type of day. Fucked up in overtime. Nuss actually in high school every play, or Nuss actually he's in high school every play. I mean, again, why? I mean, why'd you keep him in though? Like you said, I do agree with you there,
bro. And it's not
because
like
he didn't do anything to really earn staying in the rest of the game.
But it's the same conversation that we had about Max Johnson prior. Like, he hadn't done anything to deserve to keep the job, but same thing tonight. But that's the problem. Like, when you go into a game and you've decided that you're going to play 2 quarterbacks, then you've put yourself in a corner where is there a really good option? When do you know when to pull somebody out or put somebody in? Like, is it a game feel? Like, the whole give Max
like
2
a random,
possessions.
like, halfway through third
stupid.
quarter.
Yeah.
Like,
do you go, you get a quarter, you get a quarter. It's just, like, and the stupidest thing is, and you even heard Cole on the broadcast said, he was like, I think we'll see Nuss the rest of the way. He said it early because Ed had obviously told them that in meetings. They were going to give Max the first 2 series, then they were going to ride with Nuss the rest of the way. That's fucking letting Nussmeier start.
You know what else I learned in the broadcast that I had not heard yet? I did not realize this. That Jake Peets doesn't even call the third down plays. Or like some of the pass plays are just called by DJ Mangus. And you could hear, I mean, Cole was like, I've never heard, because Tom was like, it's something that you don't hear about often. Cole's like, often. I've never fucking heard of that. Even in the Brady Ensminger setup, I feel like even then it was Brady kind of being like, okay, maybe here's like 2 plays I like here, and then Ensminger was choosing, or maybe just Brady giving the play, but like it wasn't Brady straight up calling play. Again, I think for the second week in a row, Matt, I am really struck by the absence of Steve Ensminger. I mean, I really am. I know we're using hindsight and it's 2020 and all that, but like, I just can't help but feel that the offensive staff from last year, they were stagnant, no doubt about it. They were stagnant.
And they had 2 freshman quarterbacks.
Exactly, but they were like good with it. They did very respectable with it.
They scored 35 a game.
Yeah, exactly. So like they were stagnant and it felt bad. And there was shit like, they would always, they tried the 4th and 1 hurry-up zone read, and it just didn't work with that team. They tried it way too long. But they were kind of caught up in the mob mentality, right? When the mob demands blood, you have to give it to them. And objectively, Steve Ensminger is a vastly better coordinator and would have been better for this team. But again, if you're somebody that wanted overall change, then maybe it worked out for best in the end. Because maybe if you get a couple more wins this year, then I don't know. Jesse McCormick gives a super chat. Say the mystery candidate's name. Give the people what they want. Shane M. 1980 with the super chat says Nuss is a chunker. I don't think Nuss is chunky.
Fuck it. It's Matt Campbell.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's done an objectively good job. So Dave Aranda's still not in it, even after the big Oklahoma.
Campbell's at Iowa State. He's been very hesitant to ever leave Iowa State. He turned down the Chicago Bears last year. But this was supposed to be his squad at Iowa State. Preseason top 10. Hasn't worked out. He's losing Purdy and all those guys. There's a thought that maybe this is time when he would jump ship. And that could be it. Also keep in mind with Texas and OU leaving the Big 12, the Big 12 is about to become a really shitty league. Is it even really still a Power 5? It's a glorified American Athletic Conference. So if you're going to jump and you have an opportunity to go to a place like LSU, it makes sense. Now, can I please fucking clarify that I'm not telling you that Matt Campbell is going to get the job or going to take the job or they're offering him the job?
It's a due
I'm
diligence.
saying that's one that has crept up where that's one that's in the conversation now. I'll put it to you that way.
What about, is there early on there was a lot of Cristobal love. Is that still a thing?
I have never heard one person.
I mean
at
fan
LSU.
love. I'm just talking about people being like, I want
I don't
Cristobal.
give a shit what fans think. It's not that I don't get, but when you're trying to formulate and put out good information, I don't give a shit what fans
that's why I'm
ask.
asking you. I'm saying,
and I'm trying to answer the question, and you jump in with that bullshit. What I'm telling you is, I've heard nobody at LSU, not boosters, not admins, not anybody not agents, not anybody that would be affiliated with any of these conversations. Not any of them have mentioned to me the name Mario Cristobal.
Okay.
Not once ever. Fans ask a lot, what about fill in the blank? But fans say, what about fill in the blank for 1,000 fucking people?
Dan Mullen, he might be out of a job soon.
Jesus Christ.
We're watching Florida highlights right now.
Scott Strickland's got a tough decision to make, man.
He really does.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, athletic directors tend to give coaches they hired more rope.
Yeah.
Because if you fire a coach you hired, that's an indictment on you as well.
Yeah.
So that's brutal. But, man, normally your move before you fire the head coach, you remove the safety net by firing coordinators. And Dan did that. He fired Todd Grantham. Fired Hevesy.
Worked out great for LSU.
Right. But, dude, he fired Todd Grantham, and they give up 52 to a fucking FCS school.
Maybe Grantham was good.
Jesus. So I guess, but my point is, Scott Strickland clearly wants to stick with Mullen at least for another year, let him change coordinators and shit, but then you go out and have a game like this where you get 52 to Samford. Hard to justify, man. They had 35 in the first, 42 to 35.
42 to 35 in the first half. They scored 70 for whatever that's worth. Cody Boudreaux with the super chat says, Pete's hates Dune. That's the reason this team sucks. Have you seen Dune yet, bro?
What is that? Someone asked me about that today. No, I don't know what the fuck that is.
What? You never heard of Dune? Frank Herbert's 1960 sci-fi classic?
No fucking clue.
That is now an incredibly successful movie directed by Dennis Villeneuve?
No idea.
Wow. It's fucking awesome. You want to watch it together?
Nope.
Let's do like a whiskey and wine for Dune after you watch it.
Nope.
Okay, I'm in. You heard it here first, folks. 104.5 ESPN will be on it. And you know what sucks, man? I was in the stadium tonight. First time in a long time, because I've been doing this, right? So I haven't been able to go.
Yeah.
My wife's a wedding photographer, so normally she has to work on Saturday. She didn't have to. I really wanted to bring the daughters to the game. It was awesome. Got to go in the field for pregame. It was incredible. It was a great fucking atmosphere tonight, dude. It wasn't full. The upper deck wasn't full. But everybody who was there gave a fuck. And the lower body was full. It was great weather. It had all the beautiful Saturday night in Death Valley vibes. And, again, like every other game this season, you come out pretty strong. And then the offense just fucking stagnates. They just hit this. They just hit this wall, and they just can't get it going. And, again, while you have seen defensive progression, you just continue to see offensive regression, and that shit hurts.
I will say we have grossly underestimated the significance of Kayshon Boutte's absence.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
I know we talked about it last week a little bit. When you don't have a playmaker like that, when you're pushing balls to Devontae Lee and no disrespect intended. I mean, he's been kind of a guy that's bounced around a lot of different positions in his time, but man, Kayshon Boutte, you just see what a game breaker means, especially when you got a quarterback that's struggling, when he's got that safety blanket. But man, since you lost to Kentucky, you've had no semblance of a legit passing game. Ty Davis-Price has emerged.
And he played great again tonight. And okay, on the positive side, Matt, Brad Davis, we're always judging offensive coaches. The O-line did really well.
Hey, you interrupted me again.
And they were at both their guards, and the O-line did really well.
Ever since you lost to Kentucky, and when you lost Kayshon Boutte, you ran the ball well against Florida that game. Ty Davis-Price had the big game. You scored 17 against Ole Miss, 14 against Bama, and 13 tonight. Since you lost Kayshon Boutte, outside of the Florida game where that was all the rush offense, you've not even gone over 20 points.
And if you look at Kayshon's play, he fucking scored touchdowns every week.
Kayshon Boutte, some of the Arkansas people are well, why are they sitting Max Johnson? Look at his numbers. I'm 11 of those touchdowns went to Kayshon Boutte in the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean,
I got in this argument, And I got shouted down on my other LSU football podcast. The LSU football podcast, great job, because I was talking about this, right? It's what we talk about whiskey and wine. It is a black hole. Like, you can literally feel the gravitational pull from the absence of Kayshon Boutte, and you felt it again tonight. There's no game breaker. Besh is solid. Besh is fucking good. Besh will be very fucking good. Besh could potentially become a game breaker. Like, he could become that person. Then again, I guess Kayshon kind of did as a freshman. But he's even then, he's just not Kayshon Boutte.
He's not
Kayshon Boutte.
Kayshon Boutte is a potential first receiver in the draft taken. Like, he's that potential guy. I mean, fuck. Like,
and when you lose a guy like that, it extends beyond just losing him, because then all of a sudden, if I'm a defense man, I can commit all my resources to stopping Besh, right? And that's way easier to do than when you're committing to Kayshon, then opens it up for everything else.
Bro, there was a play in the second quarter. We can go through game flow in a minute, but, like, there was a 3rd and 16. LSU had scored on the Besh touchdown. The next LSU possession, they have a 3rd and 16. And they throw Nussmeier, he's rolling left, and he's got Mashburn at the second level, like the underneath route, wide open. And instead he throws it to Brian Thomas deep, who's covered, and it gets knocked away from Brian Thomas. But it's throw it to the guy that's wide fucking open, take the guy in front of you 10 yards down the field, get the first down, and keep the drive going. It's like, that's the kind of play that Max would have made. He would have taken the check down.
Albeit a bit slower.
That Nussmeier fires downfield to complete, you punt. I mean,
so what you're seeing, Matt, and I also want to be clear about this, it goes back to what I talked about last week, too. A lot of this is hard to judge because, again, I hate the offensive foundation of this offense, right? Like, I hate the mechanics, huddle operation, all of that, okay?
They suck. They're terrible.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, these quarterbacks, arguably, they're making mistakes within, right? And it's not to completely defend them.
For sure, I'm not blaming them. And they're young guys learning out there, man.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I'm
blaming
saying.
them. They're poorly coached.
Exactly.
The scheme is shit.
Exactly.
There's no rhyme or reason in play calling sequence. I mean, fuck, you pointed out after in the Ole Miss game. You did nothing to build upon the counter stuff that worked.
Yeah,
Jake Pete's don't know what the fuck he's doing as a play caller. He's just not a good play caller.
It's true. I mean, unfortunately, you just got to call a spade at a certain point. Sometimes you got to call the Relaxation Company and go set up a massage to make yourself feel better about losing the Golden Boot in Death Valley 16-13 to Arkansas. So go to therelaxationcompany.org. Book a time today. They're out there at Pelican Point and Gonzales. They're the best.
And shout out to the Aesthetic Medicine and 8th Agent Clinics of Louisiana, Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador and Caffrey in Lafayette. Awesome people. You want to look and feel like your younger self. They have every service from hormone replacement therapy to vampire facials and Botox to medical-grade supplements and creams. I mean, I get my vitamins there. Erica gets all the, face creams and shit she uses. All top-tier stuff. It's awesome. Check them out. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, or online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Yeah, shout out Erica. She made another batch of delicious cookies.
She made Snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles tonight.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Erica's the absolute best.
And she was feeling really bad.
Why?
Like she's just feeling really bad.
And
like
she
migraines
still
and
pushed
stuff.
through it.
And she's fucking
let's ride,
juicing lemons and
Let's
all to
fucking
make
ride,
your lemon
dude.
cookies and shit.
Oh my God, what a legend!
I'm
like,
you don't need to make cookies.
Well, but at this point, she kind of does because it's not just me. Everybody at Don Juan gets.
Everybody
at Don Juan gets the cookies. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody get the cookies. People are like, yo, Brian, you got any cookies over there?
Yeah, it's the old Dave Chappelle. What's his name?
The Ashy guy.
No, that's Ashy Larry. It's not Ashley Larry. It's Tyrone Biggums. Tyrone Biggums, the crackhead. Shout out Brian Smith for the super chat. No comment, but gave $5. Hell yeah, man. Jason Champagne says, I know there's no smoke around David Shaw, but he saw it. I think when Natty's here, David Shaw would be the most wet fart hire that I could possibly imagine.
That'd be terrible.
Shout out Connor O'Neill for $5 super chat. Brian Smith gives another one. He does say something this time. He says, what about Lane Kiffin? He looked good against Jimbo. I would still be down for Kiffin. I don't know, man.
I mean, I heard Kiffin's name early. Kiffin is a Jimmy Sexton client, but everybody is. You better believe Sexton would love to push any of his clients into this job. Sexton's close with Woodward. I mean, I'd be fine with Lane. I mean, I don't think it gets to that point.
Is the word? Oh God! And that touchdown from Nuss to Best was so tight. But that was it. I mean, that's all that happens. Is the word? Has there been? Because the word with Lane's always been that he would take it if it offered. Has there been any movement on the actual offering Lane front?
No.
Okay.
I will definitively say that no coach has an offer in hand from LSU.
Okay, cool.
LSU has not made an offer to anybody.
Okay.
But throughout the vetting process, you can certainly eliminate people. That's happened, I believe, with James Franklin, who's working on a deal to stay at Penn State. They talked to Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly vetted it and probably made a decision for him, which is best, that he's not interested in leaving Notre Dame. Okay, that's fine. I mean, but that's the process you go through. It's not like, I know we talked about this before, and what I said got misconstrued. I never said Brian Kelly turned LSU down. He was never offered anything. But you have a conversation, you just make a decision like, this probably isn't the best fit, so you just don't pursue it any further.
Just slid in the DMs and it didn't work out.
That's how this goes. I mean, it's people make these assumptions like if you hear a name that person's offered or that's going to be the guy. Like, no, it's a very long process where you go through lots of names and conversations.
We got some more Super Chats coming in. We kind of answered this one earlier, Matt, but we'll revisit for the Super Chat. Shane M. 1980 says, the D has started to play really well. Should we keep Jones as DC? No. No is the short answer. Jones is doing a good job, and maybe he now gets a shot at like a lower school, or, he can point to this later on, but no, you can't. I don't think you keep anyone.
No.
Joe Delmonico says, speaking in English, Scone is pushing Campbell. But you said you'd be okay with it.
I would be okay with it.
Oh, come here. There you go. You see? Okay. And then Reed Rule says, if Riley is the guy, does he bring Grinch in as DC?
Don't know.
Or bring a top-tier guy from elsewhere?
Don't know.
Yeah. Can't really know at this point.
And at this point, I don't even care. It's not even worth having.
Somebody said that you're sadder than they've ever seen you before. Maybe you care about the boot a little more than you're willing to admit.
It's just so frustrating. Like,
it is.
After watching LSU quit against Kentucky was infuriating. Like,
and Kentucky is not going on to be that good.
Some things, like last week against Bama, I didn't have high expectations. This, you lost to a shitty team tonight. A shitty team in your building that you should have beaten. You should have beaten that shitty team. I know you, we've
they're
gone
not
back.
Shitty relative to the country, but I mean, they're second to last in the West. So I can kind of maybe agree with you on them being shitty, in the SEC.
They have a losing record in conference. They're not a good football team.
And I guess Texas, I don't know what happened in that Texas game, but Texas sucks.
This is my point. They don't have the A&M win is a very good win for them.
Yeah.
But it was also early, right whenever they had lost Haynes King, and Calzada was terrible then. And whatever. That Arkansas team is not – they scored fucking 16 points in an overtime game. The problem, the reason I'm – is because – LSU sucks.
They did. Arkansas may not be good, but their offense has been pretty solid this
I'm going to tell you this right now. Whatever.
You don't think it's a good defensive performance? They put up 1 million on Ole Miss. They've scored a lot, and LSU shut them down.
I'm going to tell you this.
Best rushing team in the SEC.
Next week, when LSU's playing ULM next week at 8 p.m.,
I know why.
Nobody's going to that game, and I'm gonna beg. We're gonna do something next week that is so off the fucking rails to entice you to watch, because I know nobody is gonna give a shit about.
This just sounds like you're gonna feed me a lot of liquor.
Maybe. We're talking about we're gonna start that postgame show we're gonna start at 11:30. So I don't know what. Give me suggestions. Whatever you want us to do to be. You want us to You want me to dress up like fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi or some bullshit?
Oh,
If like that'll get people to watch,
don't
I'll
tempt me
fucking
with a
do
good
it.
time, you son
I'll
of a
fucking
bitch.
do it.
Yeah,
Whatever I have to do, I'm committed to the bit and getting people to watch and shit. Like whatever I have to do to get people to pay attention to this next week, because next week's gonna blow dicks, man. Are you kidding me?
Speaking of which, we do need to get our likes up, okay? We're at 1,300 viewers, 200 likes. If everybody can just take a second, hit the like button. I know it's annoying,
Seriously,
but
though,
it helps us.
With a choppy video and 1,300 people watching is fucking awesome. So
Shout out.
Seriously,
Love
thank
y'all.
you so much. After that shitty loss, 1,300 people hanging out, and then 400 watching on Facebook.
No, it's big time, man. We
It's
love
awesome.
y'all. We love y'all. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun doing this show, even when it sucks like tonight. It's just not as much fun as it would have been. I mean, man, I had all the narratives crafted. You know me. I'm a 7. I'm an optimistic person, right? So it was all about like, ooh, Nuss came in here, he led the game-winning drive. Like, okay, like what a fucking moment for him.
You reshape reality.
Yes, exactly, right. And so
This is Enneagram training that we had to do again.
which, admittedly, a few too many hours committed to it. But that's a different workplace conversation for another time. Like, what the fuck, dude? I've done like 11 hours of Enneagram the past 2 months. Like, it's too much. But that's fine. That's a different conversation. Yeah, no, so like I had all this positivity in my heart, and then it was crushed. But you know what? It's better than last week, where I learned a valuable life lesson about denying myself the pleasure of hope and enjoying a game. And so even though I feel crushed right now, it was nice to at least ride with this game. Like, it made me feel good. Hell yeah. Our boy says he'll be tuning in from next Saturday from Gatlinburg. Right on, dude. Hell yeah.
Let me get some Facebook comment. I was trying to share it a little bit.
Go for it.
All right.
No, Merrick, we're not shaving my head. Chill out.
Joe Armato, is it possible that T-Bob could be any more annoying?
I mean, I fucking could be.
The first fucking one I saw,
I
bro.
fucking could be. Do you want me to talk about? I mean, no, you don't want that. I can talk for you for an hour and a half about the sins of Rise of Skywalker if you really want me to annoy the fuck out of you.
Chris Robertson, good news. 2 weeks, we'll never have to see Edo on the LSU sideline again. True. Simon Hotard, LSU should have beaten Auburn, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and UCLA. I can't get down with that.
Don't play the shoulda game,
I can't
dude.
get down
I
with
hate that shit.
I can't get down with that.
I hate that shit.
You're not a good football team. I mean, you lost because you're not good. Could they have won those games? I don't think they could have beaten Ole Miss, but they blew the Auburn game. They blew the Auburn game, and they blew tonight as well. Your own self-inflicted wounds cost you this ball game tonight against a bad team, against the Arkansas frauds.
Zach Williams says I need to drink some mezcal. I've been drinking spicy margs tonight, actually. They're very good. Very, very good.
Chris Ploche, who's the quarterback next year? No idea.
I saw Walker Howard tonight and Jamie before the game. I saw Walker Howard tonight and Jamie before the game. They were at the game loving it. Great vibes. I mean, the next hire is going to be huge to what Walker eventually does, obviously. But you're still – look, I maintain this, Matt. I maintain this. The quarterback room is fine. Again, I love Nuss's natural talent. Max is a work in progress. Walker's obviously super high upside, massive high school recruit. With the right coaching, somebody will emerge and be very successful. I firmly believe that. And I don't just think that's me reshaping reality. I mean, do you disagree?
I do.
Okay.
I do disagree. I think you're married to those guys' last names and star rankings and shit. I've seen nothing. Hold on. All right.
Okay.
I've seen nothing from Max Johnson so far that leads me to believe he will be an elite quarterback. He's also a sophomore. Can he improve? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he does not have great arm strength, and his feel for the game has been suspect. So the thing he does, I would say, adequately, is protects the football. But that's not going to win you anything at an elite level. With Garrett Nussmeier, the sample size is admittedly very small. I don't think he's accurate. I think he's careless with the football, and we have not seen him make plays with his feet. Because Jake Peets inexplicably will not call design runs for his quarterbacks, which is fucking perplexing. If you have a guy that has that skill set and you're struggling on offense, use that guy's fucking skill set.
So do you think, though, that then that kind of supports what I'm saying a little bit, that we're not getting the full look at who these guys could be?
But I can't tell you that it would be good.
Yeah.
I think if you're saying it's going to be good, you're speaking to an optimistic side. And I'm not telling you that they're bad. I'm just telling you I'm right here going, I haven't made a decision on these guys yet. And then with Walker, I mean, could he come in and be great? Sure, maybe. Maybe not. I mean, we've seen 5-star quarterbacks not do great in college. I don't know.
I never get married to individual recruits. I like recruiting rankings to show you where your team's at. But, yeah, getting married, it's the same thing with hiring a coach. Talent evaluation is a fucking crapshoot. So, yeah, I mean, but still, you want to bring him in and, like, there's no reason not to be excited about him and just let him actually prove what he's going to be on the field. It's still a win to get him, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I still think the quarterback room is going to be fine. I guess maybe I'm just like banking too much on what you saw to Max at the end of last year when he had a more competent offensive support staff. When you look at, I'm watching Vanderbilt. That's just funny to me. I don't know why. But the I'm still kind of married to those 2 games last year where you used Max's skill set better. You ran him. You gave him easier decisions. And he looked like a vastly better quarterback than what he's looked at for the last few games this year.
I think whoever the coach is next year had better. Hendon Hooker from Virginia Tech. They had the kid that was their 4-star, I forget his name, tall, skinny kid, and they let them all compete. And the kid that was their guy was 3rd, and he transferred. And Hendon Hooker has proven to be a good player for Tennessee. So you'd better go get somebody who's if you want to win next year, you better go get somebody who's played or is a more veteran-type player that can come in and win you football games, because I'm not convinced any of these guys can do that.
I will disagree, but I don't think that it means anything me disagreeing today, right? So we'll have to earmark this and come back in a year and see where we're at. I don't think – I mean – and I know you're not saying this. The main thing you got to hit the transfer portal for, you got to get O-lineman, right? You're going to have to add some there.
Yeah.
Linebacker.
Because you're losing Damone. Yeah. You're going to lose Baskerville.
Who, by the way, they were wonderful tonight. Again, lost in the shuffle. Damone Clark went off. Baker Baskerville was dominant in the first half.
Baskerville let me check the final
pass
stats.
rushing his ass off.
Baskerville led the team with 12 tackles. Damone Clark had 11.
Damone Clark had 11 again?
Baskerville had 12 tackles, 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss. He was awesome. Clark had 11, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss tonight.
Shout out my dude Rohit Calva. We met last night watching USA Mexico. Always fun to put a face to the name of all of y'all in chat. It's really awesome. I mean, Von Bluesman says, I wish Miles would have stayed. There is I wish I could look into the alternate reality where what would it have looked like if Miles had not broken his arm on the fishing trip before this year. Not that, I mean, again, I think he would suffer from the same thing in that Jake Peets feels like he's kind of I'm just
for sure.
Crying about hypotheticals.
That's the other thing I'll say about Miles, where I go, and I said this when he transferred, I don't get why. I mean, everyone can make their own decision, but we'd seen nothing from the guys currently here to warrant them starting next year.
Yeah.
Definitively.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
he would have had a chance to come in and win that job next year.
Yeah, I think that's more of just a context thing, right? Like, the school's hitting a reset button. You've been here for, what, 5 years, 4 years? Like, maybe you just need to hit a reset button as well. Like, I legitimately don't think that had to do as much with like him being worried about not winning the starting job next year. I mean, that's a real thing, but I get it.
I don't know. Probably.
He's also kind of try to line himself up to where he has the best chance to start. And there probably are better teams that he had a better chance to start on this one.
Maybe.
Jesse McCormick gives $20, says, T-Bob's the most riveting local sports personality in the mid-sized radio market. I'm not going to add in the details that Jesse happens to be a very close friend. That is a completely random person who said that, and I happen to completely agree. Go says, Max beat Florida in Gainesville, then Ole Miss. It hasn't his best season, but really, Duke can play. Let's see what other notes I got in here. They fucking fumble on the Wildcat, dude.
Is it time for you to piss yet?
No, I think I'm actually good, dude. Overtime gave me the time to empty my bladder right before the show started.
You want to do game flow or not?
Yeah, we can do game flow. I'm always down for game flow.
Okay. If you're on Facebook, please share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. YouTube, how many likes on YouTube?
We got a little bump, but I still need more out of the chat. We got 361 likes with 1,300 watching, so just bump it up a little bit.
Oh, I didn't even wait. Did I? I think I tweeted it. I did tweet it. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to everybody watching. We appreciate it. Let's go through this shitty fucking game real quick.
Michael Tom says Arkansas sucked for so long, their fans are excited about 7 wins. But, I mean, in the context of Arkansas, they should be excited about 7 wins. Sam Pittman's done a fucking hell of a job, dude. Like, don't hate that much that you take away. Ricky Nelson says, shout out T-Bob from Iowa. Thanks for taking pictures with my daughter and boyfriend this afternoon. Oh, hell yeah, Ricky. Right on, man. Holding down Iowa. Love it, dude. All right, game flow.
It is definitely darker in here than it normally is. Maybe those lights are – maybe these lights are usually on, I think.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
or it's just the pain of fucking
No,
losing
it's those lights because, like, normally I can see my pet.
Do you need a cell phone light?
No, that's good. All right, so LSU got the ball, started the game, went 3 and out. Gave up that 25-yard punt return. So Arkansas started their first possession at their own 47. They got 1 first down. And then LSU kind of bowed up, man, and held them to a field goal. So it was 3-0. Iowa State lost again.
Well, bro,
Matt Campbell.
Speaking in English, are you pushing Campbell? No, but you said you'd be okay. No.
So LSU gets the ball down 3-0, and they put together a really nice drive. I could count out all these plays, or I could just go look at this. LSU put together a 10-play drive that ended up with a punt because on 3rd and 7 you got sacked. You did extend the drive with the PI. You converted a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 4 on that drive, and on 3rd and 7 you got sacked.
You ran the ball really well, dude.
You even overcame a holding on. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet is the 2 offensive linemen that were out. Didn't really seem to matter, man. Dellinger and Martinez, I thought, played pretty well. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't notice.
I mean, I'll know more on film review, but I thought they held up great, and it also forced Doomerville all of a sudden is your big tight end coming in instead of Dellinger. So a lot of people got shifted around, and the O-line did a good job. How about this from Smiley, dude? Smiley said he woke up at 4 a.m. in Africa to watch this.
That's awesome. What's
Shout
up,
out,
Smiley?
man. What up,
Shout
Smiley?
Out, well, LSU punts, and then that started a series of 4. They forced 4 consecutive 3-and-outs from Arkansas, and all they could muster was the 34-yard field goal. And then on the next drive, so Nuss came in on the 3rd possession. On his first possession, they got a field goal. His second possession, they scored the touchdown, the 29-yarder to Besh. So up 10-3, and you're like, all right, back-to-back drives for Nussmeier, points. And then they really didn't do shit the rest of the way. LSU the teams just basically flip-flop punts. The one that really hurt, though, was at the end of the first half where you completed the 17-yarder to Besh where he kind of made the guy miss, went up the seam. Then on first down, threw it to Mashburn, and Mashburn fumbled, but you recovered it. And you're in business, man. You're in business. You're at the 18-yard line, and then you go Wildcat and TDP fumbles, and that's really where the game shifted, man. You were up 10-3. You're going to score and make this a 2-possession game. If it's field goal, touchdown, whatever, you're going to make it a 2-possession game. You fumble, and then you didn't score again until the last field goal you got in the which came in the.
Damn, you really didn't score again the rest of the fucking game.
The 45-yarder is the last. The 45-yarder on the first possession of the fourth quarter is the only other point you got.
How do you feel about this from our guy RGO3500? He says gunslinger's just another code name for horrible decision maker.
I guess.
You're not entirely wrong there, right? But ideally you want a gunslinger who, because think about this. Okay, the final pick, if we take that out of the equation, let's say that's a touchdown at that point. Then you're like, okay, that's a positive gunslinger. Did he open himself up to mistakes? Yes, but he also made the plays. It's a high risk, high reward style of play, and unfortunately, you ended up on the wrong side of that equation tonight.
Can we turn this on, Jake? I mean, can you ask them if just get even if it's
cell phone light? I give you a cell phone light.
I mean, just even if it's on, just light. I don't know why it's so dark. It's usually not this dark.
Jeremy Brinkmeyer says, only positive is our guys playing their ass off. I can't fault them, or I can't blame effort. I will say, for what it's worth, You sure? I can do this, dude. It's not a big deal. For what it's worth, I do think I have been impressed with the effort of these guys, and I'm going to give that to the leaders in the locker room, right? Because I do think that even though he's been out, guys like Andre Anthony and others on this team, Damone Clark, right? Like, it hasn't been an effort issue.
Or just turn that on.
It hasn't been an effort issue. They're going balls to the wall.
See something.
And it's a credit to their leadership, but it's just not. There's just too much to overcome.
All right, so Arkansas got the ball right before half. They fucked up the whole Pittman fucked up the time of possession, too, at the end of the first half. Left them with only 36 seconds. But I'll tell you what, dude, the last play of the half, the 28-yard run, I guess I freaked out a little bit.
Florida flashback.
I freaked out a little bit, but then I realized LSU had like their deep safeties. So, huh?
So it was one of those situations where it wasn't like.
Is it possible to turn that on?
It wasn't as bad as it looked. Oh, okay, there we go, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, because you had your safeties. Now, if one of those guys gets by, then you're in trouble. So, anyway.
How did Brady recommend Pete, says Kevin Ordonia?
Because
he wanted him out of Carolina. That's the deep state taking over there. That's actually, but I mean, let's be honest about Joe Brady. He's lost a little shine as well, dude. You got to get fucking play calling.
Do you really want me to rant on the Joe Brady thing again?
No, because I fucking hate it. We've been chasing this ghost of Joe Brady to their detriment. It's one of the core pillars of why this team has failed.
The guy who didn't even call plays in 2019. That everybody thinks called plays in 2019.
What's up, anyway. Randy Donald? What's happening, bro? Mark Clemens says, love the show. I hate that we're missing a bowl game for the first time in 2 decades.
Well,
and really 2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 they missed last year. I mean, they could
have gone, but, I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah. So, anyway, third quarter starts. Arkansas got the ball, and this was actually a huge play, man. They were driving, and they decided to go for it on the 4th and 4, and Damone Clark came up with a giant sack. Giant sack.
Oh, okay, dude. Grinder.
Yeah. That was a big play at the time, man. I mean,
it's fucking awesome.
You're in a tight ball game at that point. It's 10-7 at the half. Make sure I have that right.
Von Bluesman.
No, it's 10-3. I'm sorry. It's 10-3, and they're driving, and you get the sack on 4th and 4. Then LSU gets the ball, and that's when they put the drive together. And that was the drive where York missed the 55-yarder short. I was surprised. I mean, he's got the leg to make 55. I'd love to hear from him what happened, if he just felt like he mishit it or what. But, I mean, that ended up being massively significant. I mean, I'm not going to say it cost you the game. I mean, there's a lot that transpired, obviously, but it would have been good. He was just short. I was surprised he was short.
It felt like to me, and I don't fucking know, and this is a miss. This is how you get mishit, right? It felt like to me he was trying to over-aim it. Which is surprising because we know Cade York's leg strength. Like, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
He can make that easy. That's in his range. And also, let's be clear about this because Cade York has given us a weird false sense of security at 50+. NFL kickers make 50+ at a 50% rate.
He took
right?
my drink.
Oh, dude, that happened. I hate that.
Motherfucker took my drink.
Here, you want my beer? You
Nope.
want to share my beer with me?
Nope, I don't.
Here, look. Here, I'll take a sip, then you can take a sip.
I don't want your beer. So, third quarter.
Damn, dude.
York misses the field. LSU gets the sack. You get the ball. You're feeling good. York misses the field goal short. They get the ball. That was where we had the PI on McLaughlin, which I guess was
It wasn't a PI. It wasn't a PI. I hate to say it, but it was.
So, and then that continued the drive, and that's where they hit the 43-yard touchdown. Mm-hmm. I guess was that the running back, Dominique Johnson.
Yeah, a bit of a busted play, but that was more about K.J. Jefferson's legs, right, than anything else. I think that made that play. And so
Fucker was wide open.
Yeah, I mean, a busted coverage when it's all said and done, but that's another one of those plays where K.J. Jefferson's legs just like, fuck, man, fuck. LSU's quarterbacks are supposed to be able to do that shit too. And no, they just can't run, dude. They can't use their legs to be threatening in the same way.
So it's 10-10. I mean, this is where you feel like the game's getting away. The 55-yarder short, they score to tie it, and then on the next drive is when Nuss threw the interception where why are you throwing that ball? I mean, like.
That's why he has not played up to this point, though. Like, that is why. You know what I'm saying?
I was at dinner last night with the Arkansas radio guys, with Quinn Grovey and Chuck Barrett and all the Arkansas guys, and they were asking me about why Max wasn't playing. So I kind of explained what we've talked about. I was like, and think about Nussmeyer's. I mean, he might give you a little bit of jolt, but the problem is he's going to make a few passes to the guys in red jerseys tomorrow.
Well, and that was funny.
Look at what happened. I mean, it was so predictable.
If this doesn't prove that the backup quarterback's the most popular guy in town, because even when he was like 0 of 4, people were like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude, Nuss! Look, there's like energy out there," and it was like there were like no completed passes to speak of. And then he hit the bomb. But then after that, so you can have the high moments, you can have the low moments. Nuss, well, obviously he's got to work in low moments, but he's really got to work on the middle moments, right? Establishing some sort of consistency in that offense, in that decision-making. I do love how quick he is trying to process. I like that from a natural kind of instinct to build upon. But in his very raw state that he's still in currently, it becomes a net negative. Because, like on the 4th down play, right, where it didn't seem like, was it Trey Palmer he tried to get it to?
Yes.
On 4th and 3, and Trey wasn't even ready for the ball. Yeah. Like he was not looking for it at all. And Nuss saw the blitz, knew they couldn't pick it up, and he was like, I'm getting this thing out of my hand.
So you're tied at 10. Nuss throws the pick. They get the ball. There was actually a really good moment by LSU where Arkansas faked the field goal. And so,
yeah, they saw him, yeah.
And so they're right there, knocking on the door in the red zone, and LSU stopped them and forced the field goal. So you're only down 13-10 at that point. And LSU answered with a really good drive of its own. They got Cole Taylor involved. They went for it on a 4th and 1. Ty Davis-Price converted there. And that's when they did kick the field goal, the 45-yarder, which York drilled. So you're tied at 13. And then Arkansas got the ball. You stopped them. And this is where LSU gets the ball back. And it kind of felt like, all right, I even wrote down, it was 9:09 left. LSU had the ball at their own 23. You even said, like, all right, this is Nuss time. Like,
well, it was a huge.
Like, this is the moment.
It was
like,
the moment.
It's
yeah.
tied. Your defense got the stop. Go take the lead. Win a fucking game. And LSU put together a nice drive.
They had it.
But that was the 4th and 3 where they went for it. And Nuss threw the pass to Trey Palmer. It was just like Arkansas all-out blitz. And that's when I looked at you. I said, like, you see them bringing pressure. Why not call the quarterback draw? Like, hit your back foot, tuck it, and run. I mean, it's the play they ran with Burrow against Alabama. Like,
I don't know if I love the draw there because the nature of being, like, you're going to have some unblocked guys. I'm not saying it couldn't have worked. I don't know that I love the draw, but
anyway.
What they called didn't work, though, so, I don't know.
4th and 3, you're incomplete, and then this is when two shitty teams basically came out of the woodworks because you had the 4th and 3 opportunity there. You fucked it up. They get the ball back with now a chance to go win it. They have a 4th and 1, and they have a legal formation.
Yep. And I think and even then, I think he would have gotten it, but the LSU defense did a good job on that 4th and 1. I think it would have been forward progress, and he would have gotten it.
Well, he reached the ball.
Yeah, he reached the ball. But I don't think he was down when he fumbled, but I think they would have called him down forward progress. Whatever. You got the huge stop. You get the ball back. All of a sudden, Nuss has his second golden opportunity. You're driving fucking again and looking good. And then the fucking overly complicated, burdensome LSU offensive mechanics reared their ugly head once again.
LSU started that drive at their own 5 because they had a penalty on the punt return.
Probably should have called that ball in the 5. I know that Trey Palmer was trying to make a play, but I think you got to let that thing bounce in the end zone.
Well, he didn't catch it at the 5. Well, he did, but then he returned it, and then they had a penalty.
No, I know, but I'm saying he caught it at the heels on the 5.
So LSU had the ball with 3:54 to go. They converted first down. Ty Davis-Price was churning. He had an 11-yard run. He had a 13-yard run. They ran a screen to TDP. You had 3rd and 2. They ran TDP. He didn't get the first down, so it's 4th and a yard, and you have the fucking false start. And
a false start that, in my opinion, is a direct. Oh, look at that.
Hey,
see,
cheers.
Matt, look at that, dude. Oh, cheers,
I don't
bro.
know what he's got for me.
I know, but you were so upset. Hell yeah,
Cheers,
bro.
brother.
Cheers. Look, you wanted a little, you wanted
Cheers,
a
bro.
drink.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
And the
Respect,
LSU
man.
faithful,
Thank you.
cheers. The LSU faithful come through in the end.
I don't know if he
dude.
was listening to us.
I don't know. Just great instincts.
Yeah.
Just great tiger instincts right there. Oh, my fucking Jake Peach!
Do you think he spit in it?
No, look at my guy. He'd never do that.
Do you think it spiked?
Well, I'm feeling pretty skinny and attractive right now, so I would not be surprised.
I saw a picture of you came up on my phone. Like, you know how if you look in your photos, there's like
okay, you just
it'll
like
show
have
you,
a bunch of saved pictures.
It'll show you like the no, like if you look at your I'm gonna show you this. Watch.
Cheers, brother. Oh, my bad.
You know,
dude.
like what happened? What happened?
I just took it.
You shot it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, look, if you look at your photos, it does like people and places. Like look at
Look
you
at
on there.
dude. Look at that, dude. That's me.
Look how fat you were.
Yeah, which is why he's spiking my drink now, because I'm like skinny and sexy and shit.
I was working my way toward giving you a compliment, which is like you lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You were really fat, dude.
I'm trying, dude. Intermittent
but look,
fasting
people
and
in
Peloton.
places are Drew, me, Erica, and then you.
I mean, if that's not, you fucking love me. That's the algorithm knows us better than we know ourselves.
Do you know what that is?
That is AI machine learning telling you that you love me.
No, do you know what that is?
No, I don't actually.
That's because Drew looks at videos on my phone and he watches the video of you saying "say something, bitch" over and over again. That's why that's like the memory in there.
I can't wait.
It's because of you.
Has he tended to a teacher yet?
I don't think so.
I hope so. I'm gonna take full responsibility for that.
Anyway.
Teachers probably acting like a bitch. I'm just kidding. Shout out to all the teachers. I love teachers. I love teachers. I know. I'm sorry. That's crossed the line. I love teachers. I love educators. It's a selfless profession, and you do the yeoman's work of making the entire civilization better. So I love you. I apologize. 1 minute, 15 minutes, 15. All right. No.
Shout out Thomas McGrew, who took a picture of him watching us and tweeted it.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, I got some more. You want to get some super chats?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. Lamar Stevens. Is there any truth to the thought that other teams in the West, Florida and Texas, so the West, Florida, and Texas, are not taking advantage of LSU being down momentum-wise? I would say the West is taking advantage. Like, you're in last place in the West, so I think they've taken advantage. Florida has not. Texas has definitely not. But, like, they don't really give a fuck. I mean, Florida does. Texas doesn't. I mean, Texas and LSU, for now, are kind of irrelevant to each other. Unfortunately, the West has – I mean, do you agree? The West is taking advantage of LSU being down.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, somebody has to finish. If you're last, someone has to finish ahead of you. But, I mean, look at A&M, right? I mean, but look at A&M. A&M's blown this opportunity this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
In a year where they beat Bama, they've blown the opportunity to get to Atlanta. They blew it. And they beat Alabama. They have the tiebreaker, and they've blown it.
Oh, man.
I mean, Ole Miss, I was bullish on Ole Miss at the start of this season. I think they're going to finish 10-2, which is a great year for Lane Kiffin. But I would also say they got blown up by Bama, but their loss to Auburn was really tough. They were a banged-up team. If they were healthier, maybe they win that game. But I think it has less to do with, like, taking advantage of LSU being down. Anyway, man, I don't know. I don't think of it in those terms, I guess. I don't really care. Like, if LSU's doing what LSU should, those schools aren't a threat.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of not relevant. Like, LSU should be able to rise above them regardless of what they do. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
Jesse McCormick, another super chat, says, I have a giant sack. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's something to brag about. Like, overly large balls just seems like it could be awkward if your phallus doesn't match. Has there been any Dave Aranda juice?
No.
Wow.
I mean, look, here's the thing. You got to consider this. Think of an equivalent to Dave Aranda. That's not Dave. That wasn't here that people know. Think of someone who is and honestly, the equivalent is Mel Tucker. Guy who's he's in his second year at Michigan State, third year overall as a head coach. And a lot of people here push back against that. And honestly,
I guess it's a familiarity with Aranda that makes him more accepting.
It's the same reason why people throw out Joe Brady. Yeah. Like, there's no reason at all to believe Joe Brady would be a good head coach.
Yeah,
there's no reason at all. But if you're like, what about Joe Brady? Go back up the Brinks truck to Joe. Why the fuck? What?
I mean, bro, I'm still kind of feeling Mel Tucker, so I'm happy that I'm happy that door is still open. I think Mel Tucker, I mean, I do feel, and again, whatever, I'll talk myself into anybody, but I feel like you're catching someone on the rise as opposed to catching a falling knife, something lateral. And so I think there's some value in latching yourself onto that guy.
I think there's a lot of people that could have success at LSU, as we've seen. The last 3 coaches with 3 very different backgrounds have all managed to win championships here and do so in different ways. So I do think Scott Woodward knows what he's looking for. Just look at the hires he's made since he's been here. If it's the superstar and Kim Mulkey pulling that, if it's Jay Johnson in where he got a little down his list and still seemed to nail that one. You know what I mean?
Bruh, do you want to throw in like a couple minutes of LSU baseball here for a little happiness?
I don't care.
I mean, bro, what about that fucking recruiting class, dude? I mean, #1 in the fucking country, like promises made, promises delivered. He fucking showed up. He told you, I mean, not only does he get Jacob Berry, literally the #1 player in the country, to come with you, but like, I mean, now you got him and Dylan Cruz, who's #1. But he showed up. He told you he was going to fucking grind his ass off. He was going to sell LSU. You could tell that was a guy who was almost nerdy about the brand of LSU baseball, and he fucking sold it. And what the little factoid that I cannot escape that makes me so just I can't really wrap my head around it. 13 out of the 21 players are ranked #1 at their position in their state.
Yeah,
that's fucking wild, dude. So, again,
he's been here for 5 months.
I know, for 5 months, dude.
So I talked to a buddy who's a longtime MLB scout, and he called me on Wednesday, signing day, and said, so LSU got the #1 class. He said, #2 wasn't close.
Oh, wow.
He was like, they signed 21. He'll probably get 15 of them actually on campus.
Yeah.
Say he signed the top 3 shortstops in the country. If you get one of them, you're set at that position, your middle infield. If you get 2 of them, your middle infield is set for the next 3 years. He signed 5 left-handed pitchers that all throw over 90.
Yeah, bro, and like 3 of them are like 6'7" or above, right? I mean, you got these fucking giants.
He signed 2 elite catchers. Probably get one of them on campus. I mean, he's this. Yeah, I know.
So to tie it back in, if we want to give Woodward credit and be like, don't worry, whatever happens, maybe just trust in Scott Woodward. To Matt's point, the hires thus far have been astounding.
Scott knows what he's looking for in a coach. He knows what characteristics he's looking for in a coach.
Yeah.
Which is why I trust that whoever he lands on is going to fit that profile. And with the resources around LSU to support to support that coach, they should be able to win national championships. So it's a complete 180 from Joe Oliva, who was a clown, who is doing radio interviews, I am the search, and all that. But like, Joe Oliva didn't know his head from his asshole. Is that the saying?
I mean,
whatever.
Sometimes you spew so much shit that I also can't see.
I don't know
is this like a giant asshole talking to me, or that is the same. That is the same.
He was terrible. He had no idea what he was looking for or what he was doing, and he got nervous and rushed Ed Ogeron to the podium. He didn't have a plan B.
And he lucked out. It worked out until then. But ideally, you don't want to, even though there's an element of luck in everything, you don't want to be feeling like you're lucking out. Kirby Smart.
What about him?
We haven't mentioned him. Is he going to come to LSU, Matt? Is he the secret candidate?
I think Kirby and Nick are literally the only coaches you have no chance of pulling. Zero. So, all right, let's get some more comments here to get out of here. We've got like 10 minutes left, maybe like 5 minutes left.
All right, let's see here.
Patrick Kayshon just said, "Do we have a shot at Rattler? Surely he's entering the portal. Maybe, or he may go pro. I don't know what Spencer Rattler's going to do. I mean, he could still go pro. This is not exactly an elite quarterback draft class. So, I mean, I don't know what Spencer Rattler's going to do. But that's the kind of guy who's played major college football who you may be able to pull, you know?
I mean, that to what we were talking about earlier, Matt, like, yes, if you can get Spencer Rattler to come add to the mix, fuck yeah, add him to the mix. But, like, what we saw out of Spencer Rattler was not anything better than what you saw out of Max Johnson. If we're being objective, right?
Say that again?
What we saw out of Spencer Rattler was not anything better than what we saw out of Max Johnson.
Oh,
if we're being objective.
The idea of when I was seeing Spencer Rattler at the top of draft boards, it was terrifying. I was like, if I was a team that had to draft a quarterback in this class,
fuck!
Like Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, like is Kenny Pickett the best? I mean, I would take Matt Corral out of any of them.
I'm an idiot. I just can't get over. Like, I would feel very wary about drafting a quarterback with the last name of Pickett. I'm dumb.
John Pomeroy said, "What are super chats?" So Pomeroy on YouTube, you can pay, like almost like a tip, and your chat comment is highlighted and it's featured, so that way you see it amid all of the other comments.
Just think of me and Matt on the stage, like, welcome to stage 1, Matt Moscona, and then you throw the super tip. Matt shakes his ass in your face for a little bit, no touching, and then you're good to go when we read your comment.
Austin Kidder. Matt could say, it's a fact the sky is blue. T-Bob would say, yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay, but okay, while I do think that is true, can you admit right now that street runs both ways?
I don't know. If you say something that I believe in, I'll go with it.
And there have been multiple times tonight where I've said, to your point, Matt.
To your point.
Exactly, okay? So that goes both ways, just like Matt.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That was actually funny, dude. That was good. Wow, look at that. Look at us. Who would have guessed? Look at us, dude. Hell no to rapper. Darren Silver says Kiffin ain't the one. I mean, I don't know how I'm feeling. Like, how is Kiffin? I'm not saying he's the one, but how is Kiffin not like a candidate that you would be happy with if he was to come?
Kirk DeLatte said rant on something, please. Kirk,
Kirk's here.
Kirk,
that's Relaxation Company. That's Kirk. Yeah.
Kirk, you got to, like, scroll back to the beginning, man. I definitely got down with that early. All right, we got 5 minutes. Let me do it before I forget again. Let's give a big shout-out to Don Juan Cigar Bar here in Town Center. TVs all over the place. They'll have all of your NFL games tomorrow, so if you want to come hang out, top-shelf liquor, great cigar selection. You can
Laurel makes a hell of a spicy marg.
There you go. Like where we're sitting in these there's 4 very comfortable leather chairs in our little bay, and you have your own TV right here in each of these bays. And it's not, you don't have to pay to sit in one of these. You just, if it's open, you sit in one or you sit at the bar. Great spot here at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Shout out as well, of course, to the Aesthetic Medicine Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, on Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Awesome people. Hormone replacement therapy, medical-grade supplements, creams as well, products. My wife used a lot of those. I use a lot of the supplements. I would encourage anybody, man, woman, young, old, do your blood labs. I mean, it's even if it's something where they could run your full panel and check on things like your cholesterol, all of your different organ function. I mean, and you never know what they might find and could contribute to the way you feel. If you're feeling sluggish, if you don't sleep at night, it's a great spot. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Mystery LeMay got the saying right. They say he does not know his ass from a hole in the ground.
Ass from a hole in the ground.
That's what it is.
That's it. Thank you.
You know who does know their ass from a hole in the ground? The Relaxation Company. Look, you already know.
What
dude.
a transition.
If you
what a
want,
transition.
If you want to support
radio guy.
If you want to support local and I'm really like local family-owned business, okay, while treating yourself, you cannot get better than the Relaxation Company. You go out there, Gonzales, Pelican Point, great location, very easy to get to, very chill, and you get a fucking massage, and you literally support local family-owned business. And then not only that, like Jennifer DeLotte, she was massages earlier. She's been in this game for 2 fucking decades now, and she has a place to call her and go to the Relaxation Company. I love y'all. And also, I got to say this, Matt. I think this is my favorite cigar of the season thus far.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is a Jamie Garcia Reserve. And it's a full-bodied, this is me ad-libbing here. It's a full-bodied profile of, wait, hold on, let me taste it. Hey, check it out. Okay, I'm getting notes of leather, dark cocoa.
So
hold on.
Stupid.
A hint of black pepper. In fact, oh my God. Oh wait, hold on.
It is peppery.
It's almost like there's this sort of buttery feel that is resonating within me. It's amazing, and it resides in a collection of balanced and delicious sizes, which all the men in here can appreciate. That look, all sizes matter, right, man? Right? Yeah, all sizes are good if you're boss enough smoking. Okay, Jamie Reserve.
Mark Morgan said, what about an NFL coordinator like Byron Leftwich or the Bills quarterback coach.
I get worried about an NFL coordinator.
They're not – Scott Woodward's not going to hire someone that hasn't been a college head coach.
Yeah, I get worried about that.
It's just.
Not worried about Scott. I agree.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So you need to start there. If the person hasn't been a college head coach, they're not getting this job. And I've given you a short list of names that I think.
That's how it should be.
You know, I think
right?
I think LSU's coach will come from that short list of names that I threw out. If it's in whatever order, if you throw Jimbo or Lincoln Riley, Mel Tucker. Yeah, Matt Campbell is one I don't mind throwing in there now.
Okay.
I think Napier would be down the list somewhere in there as well. But I'm not pushing Napier. Condon.
Speaking in English.
You know, and if you want to throw in a Lane Kiffin, you know, that's a you know, you want to throw that in there as well as a possibility.
That's so crazy that he's so low on the list.
I'm not saying he's so low on the list.
Okay. Do you think who would get hired first?
I just said in no specific order.
Oh, okay, you're right. My bad. Who would get hired first, Lane Kiffin or Billy Napier? Because that's wild to me if the answer isn't Lane Kiffin. Like, that's crazy to me.
Well,
maybe I'm just a sucker.
The reason I pause, and we're got less than a minute. The reason I pause is just because there's obviously something that has suppressed Lane's name, and maybe it's off the field stuff and personality quirks. But what I do know, and I'm very confident saying, is that if Lane Kiffin were offered the job, he would 100% take it. He would walk to Baton Rouge. I mean, I've had people reach out to me campaigning for him. Like he wants a job. So don't tell me to fucking wrap up.
I love it. No, I fucking love it. Tell him, Jake. Jake just gave you the fucking wrap it up symbol. Shut the fuck up, dude. We gotta go. Jake just told you.
You tell me what the fuck to do.
I love it, dude.
I want.
Yeah, but now you're about to have to close out the show.
I'm staying all night.
No, dude, you can't do that. We're gonna get in trouble.
We get in trouble.
Fucking Hanny and Condon are going next. We got